less secure basement facility under the main hotel building. Because the bunker was reserved for the country's most important leaders, it was only built to hold about 1,000 people, the legislators and their aides, essentially relocating the seat of U.S. power beneath the 6,500-acre Greenbrier Resort.
Down here, this is serious.
Very serious indeed. And the ledges were actually filled with supplies. There was a 60-day supply of food here.
The bunker was equipped for a 2-month stay, but it was the first few minutes that would have been critical for the survivors, getting rid of the deadly radioactive dust clinging to their clothes and skin.
This is one of 2 decontamination areas.
All right.
This particular decon area could have processed 120 persons per hour.
Wow.
Everyone would have stripped.
Right.
Men and women alike.
Okay.
The clothing would have gone in the chute into a bag.
Right.
And the clothing would have been burned. Afterwards, everyone would have been processed through the showers.
These are the showers.
These are the showers. 12 jet.
Inside the bunker.
This can burn hot enough, this can burn fast enough to consume biological waste.
So this is how they would handle any dead bodies, any corpses that needed to be disposed of as well.
Those who did survive would have everything they needed to exist, completely sealed off from the outside world for 2 months. When the world outside was in chaos, the Greenbrier bunker needed to be self-sufficient, beginning with power.
This is the power plant.
Ah, okay.
In an underground building, the power plant is probably the most important room of all.
Because they couldn't depend on the public grid.
Power was needed for light, and more importantly, ventilation. The bunker was designed to hold 1,000 people, and all that body heat would have been trapped by the concrete, turning the shelter into a deadly sauna within hours. In addition, maintenance crews kept 3 25,000-gallon water tanks and The bunker was well equipped, but far from luxurious. Living conditions down here would have been bare bones, worse than a military boot camp.
So this is where they would have been sleeping.
Yes, there were 18 dormitories.
In addition to the dorms, there was a cafeteria, an infirmary, and a well-stocked pharmacy with a large supply of antidepressants.
Congress to be convened in a hall like this.
Yes.
The Capitol has maybe been destroyed. I mean, but these guys are running the country in a makeshift hall. How amazing to think of the hallowed Congress working at desks that were used to it.
These subterranean batteries are the key to a 60-year-old mystery. Did someone or something attack L.A., or was the city actually the victim of the most elaborate ruse in military history?
And off we go.
Wow, look at this.
So we're in basically the oldest battery on the hillside.
Hidden away from the California sunshine is a super bunker, as well protected as any Nazi shelter in Berlin. And in 1942, it was packed with nervous soldiers waiting for a deadly Japanese air raid.
There are dozens and dozens of rooms down here.
Whoa, look at that hole.
And here we've got one.
What is this?
Well, that's someplace that I've never been before.
Can I get down there?
Absolutely.
Really?
If you're so inclined.
This tunnel once ran to the mechanical plotting room, where the guns could be locked on an enemy target 14 miles at sea.
I'm in ground zero for the Battle of Los Angeles. I'm walking right underneath of the barracks, the entire battery above. 50 guys over my head in the dark, waiting for the Japanese to attack.
As the weeks after Pearl Harbor dragged on, more and more American servicemen were crowded into the fort to bolster defenses. A base that held as few as 23 men in peacetime now had 7,000 soldiers crammed into dank rooms like this.
It's almost impossible for us now to understand how a soldier living down here
stationed here would have to think.
I would say the closest thing that you could compare it to is maybe 9/11, you know, that sick feeling that we all had after. Well, the soldiers that I've interviewed, they were all very jittery. For years, the propaganda that had been pumped into us was saboteurs and attack from the east and this. And so when it was war and it had come to Southern California.
Finally, the months of growing hysteria came to a head on one fateful night, February 24th, 1942.
The day starts pretty much like every other day since the attack. Rumors, words of you know, my gosh, the impending doom that's coming. Then the Navy issues an order that there's an impending attack.
At the beginning of an assault, a bizarre hoax, or something in paranoia that led to that outrage were ratcheted up by the mysterious aerial incident that played out here. 34 years after the base was decommissioned and the last soldier was shipped out, these empty, decrepit tunnels are the only reminders of the battle that never was.
In 1974, a document was declassified that quite likely enemy agents had operated commercial aircraft in the skies of Los Angeles that night in order to spread general alarm and disclose the location of anti-aircraft batteries. So, a good idea. You set out a decoy, provoke a response. Well, maybe what they...
Short distance away, inside Cheyenne Mountain, the U.S. government's military command center and bunker.
So now we're deep inside the mountain.
As far inside the mountain as you can get right now. This is the storage area where we keep our button-up kits.
Now, what does button-up mean?
Button-up is when we have a thread out there and we close the blast doors, and we plan to have enough crews and personnel in here to maintain the mission for a period of time. In order to do that, we have to have materials for sleeping, for eating, meals ready to eat. We could support over 1,000 folks in the mountain.
What kind of civilians might be allowed in?
The civilians that support the mission here.
Hell are those? Those are absolutely for a tunnel. There's no doubt about that.
We've heard that there are tunnels that connect this facility to the Denver airport, and we've heard that there is an underground city that dwarfs this, that's 4 or 5 times the size of this, built under the Denver airport.
I am not aware of any kind of facility like that in Denver.
Let's say there is a crisis in 2012. Is this facility equipped to withstand it?
We're very well protected, obviously.
There's still some unexplored sections back there that I haven't been through.
Have you ever explored Camp Hero?
Yeah, I did. Actually, when we were younger, we played up there while it was actually a working Air Force base. We found, I don't know what you call them, but they were tunnel-like. We'd climb down metal rebar ladders into these square tunnels.
Are those the manholes that we're talking about? These are different?
Yeah. These are cement square with metal lids.
And those are now sealed over?
Yes. Yeah, I've heard they were filled with cement.
But there are tunnels under Camp Hero?
Yes.
We start to make our way through these tunnels. They quickly get lower, narrower, and harder to navigate, with no end in sight.
Well, we can get through here.
We can get through. Watch our heads.
Yeah.
A lot of cobwebs down here.
A lot of cobwebs, it just keeps going. Turns around to the right. Oh, great.
This could go on forever.
Okay, come on up here and take a look at this.
We finally get to a point where it is no longer possible for 2 people to keep moving forward.
He's gone ahead a little bit to see exactly how far it really goes. I can't believe it goes this far. Neither of us can figure out why you would have a crawl space of this length under this building. Richard, can you hear me?
My way back here. I couldn't find the end of it. It's, well, I'm here. It's very, very long. And one end is a dead end, but then it branches off and it goes into several different directions. I could imagine people getting temporarily lost down there anyway.
I think as far as either of us goes right now.
I think so, yeah.
These seemingly never-ending tunnels add another dimension to the Montauk mystery and keep the story alive.
We may never know the truth about the Montauk Project or about what may have taken place here at Camp Hero. What we do know, of course, is that military bases here in the U.S. and around the world are ideal places to hide
classified projects.
Air Force Station. The ride is a quarter-mile long and takes them 2,000 feet deep. Someday, the mountain's elite team may have to bunker down here under the leadership of Colonel Mike Alford.
You know, if there were situations going on that would force us to come to the mountain, a terrorist threat or any other type of situations that would make our primary command center unusable, and we would just stay and live here in the mountain.
Today, Colonel Alford has come to the facility for an inspection. It's the job of Control Center Supervisor Chuck White to keep the mountain ready for Armageddon.
Colonel Alford's concerns are that we're able to stay inside the mountain and operate in an indefinite period of time that he may need us to operate.
Now this concrete right here is actually 50 feet thick.
To clear the way for the complex, excavators blasted almost 500,000 cubic yards of rock. Out of solid granite, they carved 5 incredible acres. Sealing them off, steel blast doors. They're 25 tons apiece and 3 feet thick. And when they close, this place becomes shielded, reportedly even against a 5-megaton nuclear blast within miles.
We're heading into, they call it CTA number 2. A couple steps up a ladder here, a little noisy.
There are 15 nuke-ready buildings. To make them able to sway on impact, they're freestanding on half-ton springs. Over 1,300 of them.
It's like a shock absorber. These things are actually designed to deflect as much as a foot in any given direction. So horizontally or laterally, we can bounce that much.
The mountain is juiced with its own mega power plant.
Each generator will produce about 2,800 horsepower.
Enough to run a small city.
Let's go up top.
With all this equipment running hot, the mountain needs an air conditioner the size of a building.
See, that's our rainstorm. It's taking water, it's raising it all the way up to the top, and then shooting it down, and that's how we cool it.
Like Mount Weather and Site R, the mountain even has its own water supply, 6 million gallons in 4 reservoirs.
We collect water off the rocks.
I don't know if I want to imagine myself living here, but this is an amazing facility.
The real test won't come until a day we dread.
Challenges soldiers will have to understand how to mitigate when conducting operations within a subterranean environment. For the past 12 months, the asymmetric...
Through the infancy of this problem set, then moving forward, we took the unit up to the Center for National Response in West Virginia and Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia, to the Asymmetric Battle Lab, where subterranean operations. We collect, so the intent long-term is for us to develop or adapt existing doctrine to reflect actions required by a conventional unit so that they have something to go back to or whenever they're faced with a subterranean military problem.
And mapped out a tunnel that they had never seen. The interesting thing is a lot of people will say that you can adapt the principles of the urban environment to the subterranean environment, but when we talk to the soldiers during the after-action review.
From the Asymmetric Warfare Group Public...
Like basements, tunnels, sewage and water systems, bunkers, underground facilities, as well as naturally occurring caves and caverns. Subterranean operations are unique because the environment presents soldiers with challenges that compound the existing and inherent difficulties of combat. To achieve combat readiness and effectiveness in the face of the distinctive characteristics of the subterranean environment, the enemy continues to adapt by constructing and utilizing subterranean capabilities for concealment and to protect assets to create tactical advantages. The likelihood that our soldiers will be required to fight underground increases The battlefields of tomorrow may possess subterranean aspects that will challenge the manner in which units conduct military operations. Subterranean operations will present challenges. Subterranean challenges include confined rudimentary tunnels, survivability in the subterranean environment. 1. Understand the subterranean environment by using OCOG to develop situational understanding and an appreciation of the differences between subterranean. Plan every move with the threat in mind and set conditions so the unit can maintain the offensive and take advantage of opportunities. 3. Maximize use of sensors, overwatch, and cover because subterranean environments put the attacker at a disadvantage. Platoons and squads should take active and passive measures to protect themselves from surprise, observation, and detection. Plan to encounter enemy combat power and enable movement and maneuver with organic and attached sensors, overwatch, and other protective assets such as robots, sniper teams, and military working dogs. Number 4. Assess your situation and synchronize surface and subsurface assets during operations. Subsurface elements are the only eyes and ears the commander has in a subterranean environment. They must actively keep the commander and other elements informed of their current situation, location, and status.
But even worse, fighting beneath one.
How will conventional forces react against an adapting enemy threat? The concept is supported by the
For one young soldier, this unique underground training lane gives him the experience and the confidence he needs to accomplish his mission.
You never know what you're going to encounter.
And to experiment off of some doctrine that is old, but also probably unpracticed for many years.
Reporting from Muscatatuck Urban Training Center in Indiana, I'm Army Sergeant Jason Hale.
SSE of a chemical warfare agent ammunition storage and filling facility in Crestwood Subterranean Facility.